The Glock 19 Gen 5. Let's do a review on that. Welcome to the Patriot Training YouTube channel. My name is Clay Howell. I'm the owner and head firearms instructor at Patriot Training. The purpose of this video is to perform a review of the Glock 19 Generation 5. This review comes several years after the Gen 5 was released, and I was not one of the first people to get one. Instead, I got a Glock 19 Gen 5 a little bit later, and I ordered one special from Greene Haven Customs. Charles Greene, good friend of mine, one of our instructors on staff, a certified Glock armorer, as well as a certified firearms instructor. And Charles is a true plastic surgeon. He can take your gun and turn it into something that is a work of art, a thing of beauty. And so I went to Charles, and I said, Charles, I like my Smith & Wesson M&P 2.0, and I would love to get a Glock, and I would like for you to make that Glock almost as good as my Smith. And of course, he hung his head because he's a Glock guy, and he realized that was going to take a lot of work. And I'm not going to tell you how many hundreds and thousands of dollars I spent on it. However, it was worth every penny because this Glock 19 Gen 5 that you're about to see is absolutely a fantastic gun, and I thank Charles for making it that. Of course, the base model gun starts out pretty good, but we're going to get into that here in a moment. So here we go with the review of the Glock 19 Generation 5. Now, the Glock 19 is without a doubt one of the most popular handguns in the world. It's like everybody and their mother has one of these. The Gen 5 is, at the time of the filming of this video, the most recent generation of the Glock 19. And the one you see before you is my particular Glock 19, which was customized quite a bit by Greene Haven Customs. Charles Greene does wonders with the gun. So the first thing that we're going to talk about is the shootability of this gun. And of course, that will include some drawing and firing, and that will include commentary on recoil, and that will include commentary on just the general use of the gun itself. The Glock 19 has no special place in terms of recoil. It's middle of the pack. It's the industry standard. It's not super heavy recoil. It's not super light recoil. It's an ordinary gun. I find that if you have a decent grip, you can mitigate the recoil to most extents. And you know what? It's not bad in this category. Loading and unloading the gun is fairly easy. Of course, you can take your magazine out. You can lock your slide back. You can see that I came in here with a empty gun. You can use your slide release. You can pop your empty magazine back in, but the gun is the industry standard when it comes to operations. You manipulate the slide, you take the magazine in and out, you manipulate the trigger. That's all you do. The magazine has a 15+1 capacity, so the magazine holds 15 rounds. You can also put one in the chamber for a total of 16. We call that 15+1. You will notice that the grip texture on this Glock, in addition to being dirty, because I actually use this gun, that grip texture is very heavily textured. And the majority of people who have shot this gun would agree that it's comparable to some sandpaper. And the reason why is because I like the really grippy surface on my Smith & Wesson M&P 2.0. So when I contracted Charles to do this gun, he went very, very aggressive on the grip, which was exactly what I wanted. And that is the result you see. This, gosh, you could definitely file some wood with that texture, that's for sure. Let's talk about the balance of the gun. It's a Glock 19. You know, it balances about the same as any other Glock that's out there. There's nothing special, nothing fancy about it. Of course, you've got the Glock grip angle. Some people like that, some people don't. I don't prefer it. I prefer Smith & Wesson. I prefer SIG. But the Glock grip angle is what it is, and this one is no different. Size and weight of this gun. It's a very medium-sized gun, although the shooting world calls this a compact gun. I call it medium. It's a medium-sized gun, and the weight is commensurate to that. It's certainly not as big as a Glock 17 or a SIG P226 or any full-size duty gun like that. And at the same time, it is significantly larger than, say, maybe a Smith & Wesson M&P Shield, or perhaps even a SIG P365 or 365XL, one of those smaller duty carry handguns. And of course, you've got your Glock 42 and 43 in that category as well. This is a bit larger than that, and so therefore it's a little bit softer shooting gun, and it's just about right size for a carry gun for a guy like me and many other people I know carry them. Let's talk about reliability on the Glock. Of course, when you say the name Glock, the first thing that comes to mind is reliability. And you know what? This gun has been super, super reliable. I don't believe I've had any malfunctions that were not ammunition induced. So, and this is after several years of owning the gun. This is after using this gun in multiple classes where I took the class. This is using the gun in front of students where I'm teaching. You know, this gun has really been under pressure, even if not, torture tested. And from my understanding, all the torture test results I've seen and the videos I've seen where people torture these Glock 19s Gen 5, they come out, shining. They do very, very well in these tests. One thing that you'll see on this Glock, the sights. Standard Glock sights are just not really that good, and I think that's like the known quantity in the gun world. If you are a pistol shooter, you know that Glock sights kind of suck. So I put excess sights on it, and I put the F8. And it's kind of hard to see that orange. Let me move that here where you can see that orange front sight, and you see that rear sight's blurry, and that's kind of how it should be. So at night, that rear sight, that dot that you see right there, glows, and so does this front sight. So I can just line up the two dots, glowing dot, and at night make a good sight picture. I like having the notch and post here because it's just a little bit more accurate than your typical big dot style sight might be. These sights are immensely rugged, immensely durable. They, we throw the guns on the ground. They don't care. In and out of the holster, they don't care. These things are just absolutely rock solid. Pieces of metal, that's solid metal, these sights are. And on the Glock, I tell you what, these things are super, super easy to install. I have installed excess sights on Glocks, Smiths, and SIGs. And by far and away, it is the easiest to install them on the Glock. Summary, would I bet my life on the Glock 19? You better believe it. Certainly would. It's one of the most reliable guns around, and the Gen 5 is no different. That particular gun from Greene Haven Customs was no different than any other G19 out there. It has absolutely been rock solid, reliable, very good gun. Glad to have it. Worth the extra money to get the paint job, to get the texturing, to get the other things that Charles Greene can do for you here. Would I buy one again? Yes, I would. It's got some commonality with other models out there. Glocks are largely interchangeable with magazines and things of that sort. And, it's one of the most common, popular pistols around, and there's a reason why. It's because it's just insanely reliable. Accuracy. How is accuracy? Well, as you can see, this one shoots lights out. It's very accurate. I don't know if I went to a sporting style barrel if I would be able to squeeze that much more accuracy out of it. I really don't know. All in all, 5 stars out of 5. Definitely would recommend. The Glock 19 is good to go if that's the gun that you choose to carry every day, or for whatever other purpose. You know what? You're getting a really good gun. Is it the best in the world? The answer is no. Is it one of the most reliable? The answer is absolutely. It's going to do what you need it to do. It's going to go bang every time. It's not going to fail you. It's not going to let you down unless you are in some super stylized sport or something and you need a certain amount of performance, and in that case, you're looking at other guns to begin with anyways. But you know what? Glock 19 can't beat it. It's one of the best out there. And if you're looking at this video trying to determine whether or not to get a Gen 5, I would recommend not only that you get a Gen 5 Glock 19, but I would also recommend that you get that through Charles Greene, my friend. He owns Greene Haven Customs, especially if you live here in Tennessee. And get Charles to customize that gun for you. He can do all sorts of things, transform that gun into exactly what you want it to be. He can make sure that, you get optics mounted if that's your thing. He can make sure to texture it if that's your thing, undercuts, all sorts of things he can do to that. And the professionalism that you'll get with Charles is beyond reproach. He is one of the best guys out there and one of the most talented plastic surgeons that I know. Well, folks, that's about it. I'm going to remind you, hit like, hit subscribe, click that notification bell so that you know when the next Patriot Training video drops. And as always, I must remind you, you don't have to be a Patriot to train, but you do have to train if you want to be a Patriot. Take care.